Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest and exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Motorhead Garage is presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
We are Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, and we are talking welding. If you know welding, you know the name Forney. They've been around for about 100 years, Gabby, and how did Forney get its start way back then?
Yeah, so we actually started with an instant hot soldering iron. So it hooked right up to your battery, and then you were ready to go to solder. And they actually went door to door selling those.
Wow, and it's evolved from there,
yeah.
Obviously. So what happened then after that?
Yeah, so in the 50s, we started manufacturing our own welders out of Fort Collins, Colorado. And then from there, we had kind of played around in a little bit, and then manufacturing kind of went overseas, and then we started to go kind of a different way, and then now we're starting to bring it back into actually engineering and designing our own welders again.
In engineering, that is where you come in. Tell me what you do.
Yeah, so I work in the engineering service department, and basically what I do is we repair the welders, we do troubleshooting for customers. Customers will call in and talk to us, and we teach them how to fix their welder or to make it work better. And then we also work directly with the engineers to help them design them. I'm a welder, not an engineer, so we get to help them with the welding side of things instead of just the engineering.
You get to see it from the user side and tell them what you need.
Yes, exactly.
And speaking of stuff you need here, it's not just about welders here. You brought in a bunch of different products, and it's actually 4 different product lines that Forney has?
Yeah, so we have our abrasives line, we have our shop tools line, we have a safety and PPE line, and then we have our welding line. So we have a whole array of different items in each one of those categories.
Let's talk about the first category here, abrasives.
Yeah, so we have abrasives, we got scratch brushes, we have Dremel bits, we have grinding wheels, we have masonry stones, we have basically any kind of abrasive you can think of, we probably carry it.
And this is all used in the prep work for welding.
Yes.
How important is good prep when it comes to welding?
So when you're welding, you're probably going to be prepping more than you're actually under the hood, because it's very important to have clean material and to make sure that all your material is exactly how you want it before you start to weld, so you can get good penetration and a good weld in that.
Someone told me that is the hardest thing to drive into somebody who's learning how to weld, because they just want to get under the helmet and start welding right away, and they don't have the patience for the prep.
Exactly. I have to tell my students, I'm going to fail you on this if you don't give me a good weld and a clean material.
And how important is having the right quality stuff to do that prep stuff from Forney?
It's very important. A lot of times people will wear these down to where they no longer actually remove material, and they're like, why isn't this working? So it's very important to make sure that when the material on these wheels start to degrade, that you're getting a new one and you're actually replacing that.
Category number 2, shop tools.
Yeah, so in our shop tools line, we have, once again, lots of different things. So battery chargers, we have basically anything aftermarket automotive that you can use to help do a repair or to help charge your battery or store your battery, then that's kind of what that line goes into. Pressure washers, different things in that area. Very
cool. Lots of stuff to branch out to.
Yeah.
And then now we're getting toward welding again with the PPE. So tell me about all the protection gear you offer.
Yeah, so we sell jackets, we sell leathers, welding helmets, we sell the face masks so that when you're grinding, you're protected. A bunch of gloves, different styles of gloves, safety glasses. So once again, PPE is very important when it comes to welding, so we have to make sure we have a huge array of those so that our customers can purchase all of their safety equipment from us and be safe while they're using our equipment.
For you personally and for the welders you know, how much is personal choice taken into consideration? We're talking styles, protection, and that sort of thing.
So some people really love the designs and all of the fun, fancy stuff, but when it really comes down to it, a lot of welders like to just do black helmets and then decorate it themselves. So it really just kind of depends. Most welders honestly don't use a lot of PPE. So it's something that we have to say, make sure you're welding with a jacket on and make sure you have gloves on, and a lot of automotive guys will actually just be welding in short sleeves and stuff like that, which is fine, but you're going to burn yourself every once in a while. And so.
Face the consequences.
Yeah.
But that makes comfort important, so that you probably take that into consideration.
Exactly.
Your equipment.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the actual welding gear that you make.
Yeah.
Forney is famous for.
We actually sell our wire, we sell welding rods, we sell filler metal. We also sell, this is a little bit more of on the shop tool side, but also soldering stuff. So we have a little bit of that. And then we have our welding machines. So we have 4 segments of welding machines. We have our Easy Weld line, which is our 120 volt kind of DIY new beginner welders, hobbyists in their garage. And then we have our Forney line. So some of these machines are manufactured overseas, and then we actually just launched a couple machines that we actually are able to say assembled in Fort Collins, Colorado. So we're doing the final assembly there in Colorado. And then we also have a Forney Pro line. We're building that line right now. We just have 1 machine that's in that line, but we are working to build up on those welders. So as we talked about the 3 segments of welders that we also have the helmets to go with them. Of course, you can always upgrade your helmet and buy the next one up or whatever you want to do, but we have a Forney Easy Weld helmet, we have the Forney helmet, and then we have a Forney Pro helmet.
Find all the gear that suits your style and suits your ability. You can find it at ForneyIND.com. We will return with more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coating, so do not touch that dial.
The first steam-powered road-going vehicle was invented in 1769, and steam power remained popular for another 150 years. Early steam engines had boilers that had to be lit by hand, and they took about 20 minutes to build up enough pressure. Furthermore, steam-powered cars had only about a 30-minute supply of water on board, a far cry from the high-tech cars we all drive today. Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, is brought to you by RockAuto.com. All the parts your car will ever need. Drop Zone Offroad, the spot for custom Jeep accessories. Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. And by NH Oil Undercoating, the official oil-based rust prevention system.
If you own a UTV like this one, chances are you're going to modify it. In fact, most people do. And if you have a wish for your UTV, something you want, I've got the genie right here. Now, Dustin, you're with All Things UTV. How all things is all things?
Well, we troll the internet looking for problems as far as what we need to address to help the end consumer have the best experience with the unit they bought from OE manufacturer.
So you see something people are complaining about or something they need, and you jump in and fill that need.
That is correct.
I got you. Well, so what are some of the more popular things you have? You told me about a heads-up display you've got?
Yes, for the Honda Talon, the consumer has a desire to move the gauge cluster from the center of the dash to a more heads-up location, and we've got a bracket that we have built to accomplish that.
How does it work?
So basically, we take the gauge out of the center, and we mount it onto the plate using the factory wiring harness minus 1 part, and then we just bolt it right there in front of the head, right there in front of the steering wheel. And then the filler panel is actually a switch panel for your ACC accessory switches.
So you're not just putting a blank panel there, it's actually still useful, and you're using the same wires.
Yep, we're utilizing anything that we can.
Yeah, simple hookup. What else do you have in your line at All Things UTV?
Well, our number 1 mover, or product, is the suspension.
All right, and so what's the need there? We're looking at the suspension here on a stock vehicle.
So the way we've seen it is the engineers at the OE manufacturers spec these machines and the suspension for the factory weight. Well, nearly 99% of everybody that buys the end user always accessorizes their unit. That is adding weight to that engineered spec. Well, they outrun the engineered spec, so that's when we step in with our design. We've actually rated a different spring with higher quality steel, and it goes into the top there. It raises the...
So it's up in this section here?
Yes, sir. We replaced this, and it raises the machine back to the spec riding height, nothing extravagant. And then it is a higher quality, lifetime sag-proof warranty, and also it gives you an 80% better ride quality on most machines.
Another item you have here is all about the CV joints, and I know those can be a bugger to get off.
Right, so in this industry, we're in mud and water all the time. And the inner CV cup is a dry ran unit. If you do over-grease that does become a problem because you neutralize the clip and it will slide out on the trail, so that can be a bad thing. It's good to service it. But being a dry run unit, it does rust and it does stick and seize. Well, after 22 years of being in the industry, we have invented a tool that we've got a patent pending on. And the way this tool works is it utilizes the boot galley on the CV. Remove the boot out of the way, and then you tighten these bolts down into the galley, and then you center pull, and then that axle slides right out.
Pops right off.
And with this tool, if it doesn't work, we buy it back.
And one final item you brought there, this is really all about safety. It's good for looks too. Tell me how this works.
This is the inner defender by all things UTV, and this bolts to the plastic, and it is an impact distribution system, and it's metal versus the plastic inner fender wall.
I got you, because those plastic inner fenders, you get a branch or something going.
Right, it can get impaled, and then you're sitting behind whatever's going to impale the
Could
plastic.
be a real bad day.
Correct.
And you guys are preventing that.
Yes, sir.
Very cool. You can make your vehicle look better. You can make it perform better. Check them out at All Things UTV. Your wish is their command. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, so stay right here.
The Ford Model T was the first car to achieve 1, 5, 10, and 15 million units sold. By 1914, 9 out of 10 cars in the world were made by Ford. The Model T is still among history's best sellers. But which model has sold the most? At over 43 million units sold, the Toyota Corolla is the best-selling car of all time. Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, is rolling right along, and we are talking about tires. You know, the tire is the unsung hero of the vehicle. You hear a lot about the engine. The engine gets all the glory, but if you don't have good tires, you're not getting good traction, and you're not making the corners at all, and you're not going to be able to stop. And so when you're talking tires, Tire Service International is a huge name in the industry. Brian, you guys service tire centers all over the world. Tell me what you do for all those folks.
The Tire Service International, we're actually known as the Cheetah guys. So we're known for our flagship product, which is the Cheetah CH5. But we also do a bunch of other equipment for any tire service, disposal, recycling. We do it all.
So the pros know the name Tire Service International.
That they do, sir.
Awesome. Well, so we talked about the Cheetah here. This is a bead seater.
It is.
And it's been around for 30 years, so you're looking at the industry standard right here. So tell me how it works.
Basically what it is, it's a 5-gallon tank, this one. It has an air inlet valve, goes up about 90 PSI. Once you fill up to that 90 PSI, you've got your butterfly release valve, where you just pull that forward and shoot some air in your tire.
What size tire can that do?
We actually have tanks that will do any size tire. Anything from ATV tires all the way up to farm equipment tires.
So you're all set for my monster truck.
All set for it.
So they say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But you guys actually found a way to improve on the Cheetah, and that is where we wind up here with the Viper. So tell me about the Viper and how it works.
So the Viper, it's a little bit of a different bead seater. We actually designed it to be a little easier to handle, and also comes with a push-button discharge. The front of the tank, it's got a jet barrel, which actually allows a greater air volume to come out at a faster rate of speed.
All right, and then I know with the Cheetah, you've got to place the nozzle there on the rim.
That you do.
And you don't have to do that with a Viper.
You don't. No, all you got to do is put it up against the tire.
All right.
And give it a shot, see what you think.
All right, so easy, even I can do it here. Let's give it a shot. And we'll give it a quick shot here. Let's place it right here on the edge, and here we go, folks. That packs a wallop. That is cool.
That is cool.
That's just as simple as that.
Simple as that, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of bad ways to seat a bead.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so this is about safety as well.
There's a lot of different ways to do it. We recommend sticking with the basics.
Now, for the folks that have the Cheetah and they want to upgrade their bead seater, you've got a new option for them.
We do, yeah. It's called the Jetpack. It attaches right to any bead seater and actually turns your manual valve bead seater into the push-button discharge.
And that's for folks that have any brand of bead seater.
Any brand of bead seater.
Tire Service International is really the only name in the game when it comes to tire truers. So for the uninitiated, Craig, tell us exactly what this device does.
Well, essentially what a truer is designed to do is to remove high spots in a tire if you've got a tire that's slightly out of round. That'll give it a better roll down the road. It'll balance better. But in addition to that, you can use this as a shaver to lathe the tire.
So if you get cupping or something like that?
Cupping, or in the case of an all-wheel drive vehicle, you can shave down one tire to match the diameter of the existing 3 tires that haven't blown out.
So this comes in handy for folks with professional tire shops, but also this is kind of a trick device for folks that are racing.
Exactly. And in fact, the 1200R, the R stands for racing, but what you're going to do with a racing tire is remove enough meat from the tire to give it a better traction on the track. And in addition to removing rubber, this machine is designed to allow you to put camber in it, so you can get even a better grip.
I always knew camber to be something you put in with suspension, but not the case.
It's both.
All right, we'll see how it works here. You've got it, it's mounted here on the machine. You've got it all centered and everything ready to go.
You just basically mount the tire up pretty much centered on the machine, turn on your drive motor and engage it. That gets the tire rolling at the appropriate speed. You want to be able to see what you're doing.
It's important.
And then you start the blade and dial the blade into the tire. So you start to see a little bit of the rubber coming off.
And how much of this is eyeballing it and how much of it is a science?
There's a great deal of finesse involved in using one of these machines, and people that have used them for years are in high demand.
When you're talking camber, how many degrees can you add by
up
using
to 5.
Really?
Up to 5, yeah.
Pretty impressive. And you're working from the center outward.
Working from the center out to the sidewall, and then coming back to the center and working the other direction.
Typically, how much can you take off with the blade?
Usually about a 64th of an inch is all you want to take off at a time. It depends on how much of a high spot you've got, but most of the time about that.
Well, if you're a racer or you own a professional tire shop, you're going to want to check out Tire Service International. You can find them at buytsi.com for these products and a whole lot more. We will return with more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, so do not go away.
The first organized auto race in the United States took place in 1895. 6 cars raced 54 miles through the snow from Chicago to Evanston, Illinois and back. Inventor Frank Duryea won the race. What was his average speed? 7, 25, 40, or 50 miles an hour? Duryea won the race in just over 10 hours at an average speed of 7 miles an hour. Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, is brought to you by Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. Overland Off-Road, we'll get you there. Stealth Performance Products, providing diesel performance solutions. And by TS Brackets, drive your Jeep with outdoors in style.
All right, you know it's time to replace the refrigerant in your vehicle, but you don't want to do it because it's too much of a hassle. You know, if you take it to the shop, it's going to take a lot of time, and it's also going to take a lot of money. They're going to have your car for a few hours, and you're going to end up paying about $150 to $300 depending on where you take it. Now, there's a smarter way to do it, and you can do it yourself, and it's called AC Avalanche. It makes replacing your R134A affordable and a lot easier than you might think. AC Avalanche works on the vast majority of cars and trucks, and yes, it is safe for your electric vehicle or your hybrid. And the first step toward installing it couldn't be easier. You look for the low side service port on your air conditioning line. That's the side with the plastic cap that's between the evaporator and the air compressor. That is where you'll connect the hose from your can of AC Avalanche. AC Avalanche has a pressure gauge right on the can too, but if your vehicle has a thermal expansion valve, as many do, this gauge may not work. That's when you want to reach for the smart clips, because AC Avalanche thought of everything. You clip those smart clips onto your center air vent and they'll change colors when the system is recharged. And to recharge the system, you're hooked up there to that low side service port. You push the button, the refrigerant starts flowing, rotate the can a little bit, and as soon as it's filled up, those smart clips will change colors. One will turn to blue, the other will turn to green, and of course, if the gauge is working for you, if you do not have that thermal expansion valve, that gauge will let you know when you are good to go as well. AC Avalanche is the smart way to recharge. It is also the affordable way to recharge. Check out acavalanche.com to find a dealer near you. We've been taking a look at the great line of products from our friends at The Last Coat, and if you're looking for a quick shine and a quick cleanup job on your car, Nick, you need a go-to. And, well, that's exactly what you guys call it.
I got here. Yep.
Go-to, you got it. And what exactly is it?
This is a graphene ceramic-based waterless wash, and it is the first of its kind. No one else has it. This can be used also as a standalone sealant, but mainly designed as a waterless wash product for when you have some light dust or a bird dropping on your vehicle. Quick way to get rid of it.
Well, we've got both. Let's see how you get rid of it with go-to. Yeah. How easy is it to apply?
Very easy. So we're first just going to shake up our bottle. We're going to get an even spraying on our surface here. We're going to take our blue towel here, and we are going to use lateral and horizontal movements. We do not want to be digging in and grinding these dirt particles into the surface.
Getting the swirl marks.
Getting those swirl marks, you know it. So we have a little bit of a bird dropping here. We're going to add a little bit more product.
Seems like the birds always find my car, so I'm glad this product exists. Yeah. That's fantastic.
So now we are going to take our second towel, and at this point, we can actually do some circular motions here to buff it off to a high gloss shine, and it is just slick as can be.
Now, how often do you need to apply this?
Just as your vehicle gets a light dusting, easy way to rid all that dirt and stuff and have a beautiful, gorgeous finish.
And what kind of prep work needs to be done before you do this?
Really nothing. So as long as the vehicle has a thin layer of dust, we don't want to be waterless washing something that has mud and rocks on the surface. But if it's a light layer of dust like this and you're looking for that gorgeous look, Go-To is your product.
And living where I do, you get a lot of pollen, and this would be perfect for that.
Guaranteed, yes.
All right, well, let's see how it looks compared to the other panel that has not been washed. And check that out. That is unbelievable. That is like a mirror. Very cool. It's called Go-To. It's from The Last Coat. You can check them out at thelastcoat.com/motorhead. Well, it's been a real good show. I'm going to try to do one for you again next week, so be sure to join us then. In the meantime, you can check out our Facebook page and see what we're up to. And if you have a cool product you want to see featured on the show, email jeff@masterstv.com. From our entire crew here at our Borla Studios, we'll see you next time on Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. So long. All right, thanks, Brian. And going over here. Stupid.